and obviously, honestly, it's a great lead into this next topic.
It is a great lead into this next topic. So out here, actually in Washington, there is a all women's nude spa that is going through a small scandal that they should
Situation.
situations. Let's say situation. True. They're going
Situation.
through a situation where they are people are saying that they should allow transgendered women to also attend this nude spa. So I'm gonna start out by saying this. I am very much a free thinker. Whatever you feel, whatever you love, however you love, whatever your personality is, whatever your sexuality is, I am all for it. I don't have an issue with anyone in the LGBT community. I feel like however you are, be who you are. I don't have any issue with anything. I just want to start out by saying that. I'm also going to say what I'm also going to say is I don't know how to feel about this situation because, again, I personally don't care. Honestly, you're not bothering me. You're not bothering me and my sexuality. You're not hindering anything in my thought process. So you do you, boo boo. I'm just keep it there. Do you, boo boo?
Intertwine
and intertwine that, right? But how am I gonna say this? The situation that's going on with this spa, though, is a complex situation because I've honestly asked a couple of different people, and they were on both sides of the spectrum. One person said that they wouldn't have an issue with it. Another person said that they would. I can honestly see both sides of that because, just to give an example, right? Say, for instance, my future significant other, right? For her birthday, she wanted to experience this nude spa. And I said, okay, babe, I'll make sure that I get you the deluxe packet so that way you can be free and you can get all the amenities that this spa offers, right? And she's gone for 2-3 hours throughout the day, and she comes back and she says, well, babe, there was a situation that happened where there was a individual that was also taking part in these in this new spa, but also had a penis. So my initial thought would be, what the fuck? Like, I thought this was supposed to be all women, but I can also look back at it and say that person most likely identifies as a woman or does identify as a woman, and they have full reign to take advantage of whatever amenities that they want to take advantage of as well. That's what inclusiveness is, right? They want to feel, they want that inclusiveness to be able to, if they identify as a woman, they should be able to do the things that women do. Where the one thing that it bothers me is with our children. That's where it gets to a point where it bothers me a little bit, because our children are
impressionable.
That's the word I was going to use, but I was trying to make sure that was the right word to use. Our children are very impressionable, and there are certain things that we as parents of these children should express and not the public to express. That's just the way I feel about it. Now, and there was a situation recently, and of course we know this is Pride Month, and again, we love all y'all. We don't have any issue with y'all. Happy Pride Month to all of y'all. Be free in your month and do your thing. We're not bashing anybody. I promise you, we're not. We love all y'all.
Yeah,
it's just certain things within
we
this.
have no issues.
Yeah, there's just certain things within this inclusivity that there should be some things that are very exclusive, if that makes sense to anyone. D-Lo, what you think, bro?
So let me start by saying, I think I understand why this is a fight in the first place. Not that I necessarily agree with everything. And like you said, Sticks, I don't have any issues with any of the LGBTQ community. You're not bothering me, not bothering my sexuality. Um, I'm good. But I think I understand why this is a fight, because if this particular community who has shown that they will go through whatever they need to go through in order to make sure that their rights are protected, so they have shown some power. If we allow this particular community to be discriminated against, then it creates loopholes and also gray area for other more established communities that have been discriminated in the past to be discriminated against. And so I think that is why, at least I'm hoping, that's why some of these fights within the transgender community or with the transgender community are going on, is because if this community is allowed to be discriminated against, then it opens up other areas for other groups to be discriminated against. Now, with that being said, let's go back to what you said.
Mm-hmm.
It is very hard to be a parent right now,
Mm-hmm.
because these things are being put and pushed on us on an ongoing basis.
Mm-hmm.
And it's hard to give clear-cut answers as to why certain people decide to do certain things. Now, you want to show and you want to model that people think differently than you. You can understand and talk with people that think different than you. You can also um, understand that people may come from different experiences than you have. You also want to make sure that you demonstrate understanding of people that just may be different from you in general. But it's very hard to be a parent, because kids, like we mentioned, are impressionable. And because they are impressionable, they're going to ask questions.
Mm-hmm.
And if anybody has had kids that are, 2 to 5, they're going to ask questions, and they're going to ask questions at the most unfortunate of times.
Mm-hmm.
And so that can cause a lot of tension. The kids aspect is the part for me that's the most challenging part. Because like I said, it's hard to explain to them why somebody is the way that they are. Now, with all of that being said, I think there are places there should be some exclusivity, instead of the inclusivity. You mentioned, or we're talking about currently, the locker room incident, or the nude spa there in Washington. But there's also been an incident, I can't remember the year, but there's also been an incident where at a high school you had a transgender woman go into the locker room. She was 18, go into the locker room with girls, and she hasn't fully transitioned yet. So you have 9th graders, 10th graders, 11th graders, 12th graders, all that range of girls being exposed to male genitalia. Okay, it's some girls may have already been exposed to that, but the majority of them have not. So
Right.
now you have girls seeing something that they have never seen before. They may not understand what is going on, and then they come home and ask you all of these questions. So it's just this is one area where I find myself scratching my head a lot when having this conversation about transgender. Now, I am not confused about what is a man and what is a woman, though. I'm pretty firm on that.
Right.
But I do try to understand people's different views on things, and and explaining it to my daughter, to my son when he gets older. If I have to explain to him, I probably will be firm in my belief in that, but in giving them more views on different on that, I I don't know how I'm going to explain it.
Right, right. I mean, and just to get back to the community itself, for someone, this is not something that just happens to happen. These individuals have to be strong individuals to say to come out and say, as a man that I'm attracted to men, as a woman I am attracted to women, as a man I feel in myself that I am a woman, and vice versa. They have to be strong individuals and confident individuals to do things like this. And I honestly commend y'all for that, because it takes a lot to be different. It takes a whole lot to be different. And that's exactly what it is. But just to reiterate on what D'Lo said, I have a 16-year-old young lady. I have a 16-year-old daughter, and I've already had to have multiple conversations with her about these things, and it's a hard conversation to have. And whenever you, just like D'Lo said, I'm very firm in my stance in knowing what a man and a woman is. And just having to explain, sexuality and why these things exist, and who these people identify as, it's a hard conversation to have. And I know over time, with us having this platform and us having a podcast, that we'll eventually have to do a little bit more research on things. And we're probably not the most adept to talk about something like this. We just kind of giving our opinion. But at the same time, it's so prevalent in society that it's a conversation that needs to be had. But just
I
to
think that's a misconception too, though, which
what,
is why it's such a hard conversation to have.
right.
Is you said that it is so prevalent. It's prevalent because in everything that we consume,
Mm-hmm.
essentially, is put there. But in the
I got
grand
you.
scheme of things, and I'm not trying to minimize the
Right.
community in any way, but in the grand scheme of things, they only make up 1 to 3% of the entire global population. So
Okay. I got you.
it's
I got
it's
you.
prevalent, but in the grand scheme of things, it is not.
I got. They're not the
That makes sense.
majority. I get it, and that makes sense.
Yeah,
Nowhere
yeah,
close to them, or not.
right,
They're a vast minority. I get that, but
right.
but I mean, I
The
guess
prevalence comes from it just being there in everything we consume,
agreed.
internet, television,
Social media,
social media,
movies, yeah,
all that. Right.
yeah,
That's where the
yeah,
prevalence
and,
comes from.
right. And of course, who is the most? Who is the people that are consuming this information the most? Which is our children, right? So that's where it becomes hard for me in the inclusivity conversation, is having my daughter see these things in cartoons, in movies, on YouTube, in sitcoms and things like that, to where she's like, okay, that's different. Dad, what is that? You know what I'm saying? Not to say no, what is it in a bad term, but she just to her see like, okay, what does that mean? Like, how can you explain that to me? And I'm like, honestly,
Right.
baby, no, I can't. I can't really.
Right.
I can try to explain it, but I don't want to explain it in the wrong way. So I'm gonna have to get back to you on that. I'm gonna have to figure it out and get
Right.
back to you on that. So just to kind of wrap it up a little bit. Again, we have no issue with anybody in that community. Anybody in the LGBTQ community, don't come at us like that. Please don't, because we're not here to throw any salt on you guys' inclusivity and things. We're not. It's just
Right.
certain avenues and certain things that is hard to talk about and we don't understand. We try our best to understand what you guys are going through and the fight that you guys are having, to be able to express it to our little ones, to be able to give them a little bit more of an insight and kind of let them take free reign on how they want to live their life. Because
Mm-hmm.
I don't care which direction my daughter goes. I'm gonna love her regardless, because I love her and I love people in general. I don't have any issues. But at the same time, it's a lot that happens that when I get the questions, I'm not sure exactly which direction to go. And just like I
Mm-hmm.
said at the beginning of this segment, with the nude spa situation, I'm not sure how to feel about it, because I love y'all. I have no issue with y'all, but there there are certain arenas that should be exclusive. So like, just like I feel like that should be exclusive, just like I feel like the sports arena should be exclusive. So, and I'm
Right.
not gonna get into that, but there's a lot of gray area and a lot of complexity within this conversation that we need to do a little bit more research and kind of understand, and maybe even talk to somebody and have somebody come in and we have a conversation and kind of give us more information on how you feel and what your personality is, and why the fight is like it is, because I want to know and I want to understand, and just to kind of get that information for myself, for real.
Yeah. I'll wrap it up with, I think the uncertainty or the us not knowing how to talk about it comes from now all of what we grew up knowing comes into question. What we grow up knowing, and again, I'm pretty firm on what a male and what a female is. Pretty firm on that stance, and not to get too deep into it, but
yeah.
But that comes into question. It's like, okay, it's always been this. What? And I guess I shouldn't have said that it's always been this, because if you can't accept change, just because something's always been how it is doesn't mean that it can't change. But that is pretty cut and dry, in my opinion. So it's just that aspect of it is why it is a tough conversation to have with our children, because again, you want to be respectable to each individual on this planet and their thought process and how they feel, but how do you explain it to them if you don't fully understand it? So
100%, man. And like I said, we love everybody. We don't have an issue with anyone. We don't want any problems. We won't want no smoke. Promise we won't want no smoke. I promise we won't want no smoke.
We can take it if it comes, but we
can't take it if it comes. We're not scared of the smoke. We just don't want the smoke. We don't want the smoke. It is definitely a hard conversation to have, and hopefully we didn't piss nobody off, because we definitely want to understand. It's just certain things that we don't understand, and it's hard to agree with, especially when it comes to the children. So we're just gonna leave it at that.
100%.
Thank you for watching this video. If you haven't already, go ahead and hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and hit that notification bell so you miss none of the content. Also, you can find us on all your streaming platforms, wherever you find your podcasts.